guys, welcome back to Attachment Point News Roundtable. We have an easy one today with a KG veteran, podcast host now, as well as business partner, as well as Smart Choice family alum, and just old Orange County networking buddy. We blame Michael Trulian for this, 5 years of friendship and causing trouble. How you doing, Ed?
Good, man. How's it going?
Doing good. I don't know if it's quite 5 years now that I think about it, but close. I'm
Close,
coming
dude.
up 4.
Kind of close, yeah, like 4 to 5 years now that we've been kind of staying in touch and working together and kind of looking over each other's shoulder every once in a while.
Well, pairs of opposites, you got to help each other out.
Yeah.
So for background, this June, I think I would have been fired like 4 years ago, and then decided to start my brokerage kind of towards the fall. And then Trulian got us talking, which is cool. It's amazing how insurance is this like fraternity, and especially once you get in that insurance nerd Slack, and then just a quick shout out to Spencer and Smart Choice. When you helped me structure Newport Beach Insurance Center, those guys really got us out the gate, and with Arango Insurance now too, they make it so freaking easy to set up an agency.
Well, I'll tell you, man, that's a good point because when you and I first kind of started working together with Newport Beach Insurance Center, I was kind of a little kind of dumbfounded on how are we going to get access to some companies and be able to write with certain bigger named, better known insurance companies, knowing that we couldn't promise them, $200,000 worth of premium in year one and all that good stuff. So we we kind of got turned on, and I don't know, how did we get turned on to Spencer in the first? Were you already hooked up with him at that point?
Sort of. Anthony Lorenzo out of New Jersey, when I was like bartending, he was a former Farmers agent and hooked up with Smart Choice, and we were expecting him to talk trash, and he had nothing negative to say, because shout out to Anthony, you're fun, loud, crazy guy. Appreciate you, brother. But yeah,
sure, I remember that. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, but once we got that connection to Spencer, it was kind of almost like he did a little hand holding for us, kind of walked us through the whole process, made it really easy, kind of helped us kind of take off that stress that you kind of like, because you're kind of like, oh shit, what are you going to do now? We got to start figuring out how we're going to start writing some business and where we're going to go with these clients and yada, yada, yada. And Spencer was kind of like, hey guys, don't worry about this. We can get this kind of going. And it's, and it's evolved. You kept it going at Newport Beach Insurance Center. You're even doing more stuff with them than your regular Joe. And then I've, now with Arango Insurance Services, I've kept it going as well. So yeah, shout out to Spencer and his whole team there at Smart Choice. So yeah, kudos.
Yeah, so Ed and I were cutting our teeth on the automotive industry and just double down classic cars, kind of everything in that space. And then the podcast too, which has been really fun to track. Some of the legendary names you've been able to have on around the auto industry too has been really impressive. So
yeah, so it's kind of funny how things kind of just evolve. It's kind of weird. I'm just a car nerd, and I've always been my whole life. And as you guys could tell, that's not a screenshot. That's my actual garage.
You can touch the car.
I can touch the car back here. But yeah, and this is where, I kind of made a cool little workspace here because of COVID and all this stuff. Everybody's working from home, my son, my wife, everybody's in the house. So my last resort would be the dining room table or set something up out here in the garage. But my garage is pretty dialed in. And I made a great little work spot here. So from that ability for us to work in the garage space and, classic cars and collector cars and all that stuff, thanks to you, which I was hesitant to, develop this podcast called Eds Auto Garage, which you named. And that's what it is. It's Eds Auto Garage. You can get it anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, anywhere, iHeart, all those things. And then I have a a video version of it going as well on my YouTube channel, which is also Eds Auto Garage, and like and subscribe. And so yeah, I mean, at first I was really hesitant to kind of like, oh, I don't know, I can't do this. I'm not a talker, game show host guy or anything like that. So I just thought it was kind of weird.
Just for anybody else who tunes in, like insurance, get rich in your niche, get rich slow. You had a passion for it. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint, building a small business.
Well,
and these tools are pretty low lift. Like you have a nice microphone now. I'm still using this $30 headset. The camera's, you know, from a MacBook. You know, I use iMovie to edit. A lot of it's just effort. And it's funny, like you mentioned all the projects we did last 2 years, like it's COVID too. You're shut in your house. You get pretty creative on ways to build business and keep yourself busy.
You're so busy, you're in your house, you know, you're trying to think of things to exactly keep yourself busy. The podcast really has been, to be real honest, I mean, I'm being real sincere here, has really been kind of a blessing in disguise, because it's, for me personally, it's a niche. It's an area I like, and I like to talk about cars and all things kind of auto related. It's kind of a passionate thing as an enthusiast. So it's kind of a little bit of an escape from the day to day. And again, Ed's Auto Garage podcast is kind of the way I see it. And the way, I mean, you and I talked about it, Brett. It was designed to basically be, imagine, you know, you and a buddy just sitting in your garage, just kind of shooting the you-know-what, and just talking about cars and talking about life and talking about our work, just the stuff we all do anyway when, you know, you're waiting to get called in to have dinner. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure. I'll definitely have all that in the show notes. We'll have links to everything. And I think it is a cool thing to build an agency around a niche and to, like you said, line it up with your personal passion. For anybody who's not feeling super confident, like they could be like technically a personality, people like genuine engagement, people like knowledge share, people like enthusiasm, you know, so I wouldn't lie to yourself. I wouldn't try to be like, oh, it's going to be beneficial to talk about cryptocurrency, so I'm going to go talk about cryptocurrency right now. If you love it, if you've been in it for a while, by all means, but don't do it because it's in vogue. You know, you'll burn out. You know?
Oh yeah, no. And it's kind of funny you mentioned cryptocurrency, because I mean, again, it's like, it's got to be something that you are, like you said, that you enjoy, you want to be involved. You know, a couple of years ago, one of my kids got me to buy some cryptocurrency. I know nothing about cryptocurrency. You know, I'm just a knucklehead. And yesterday, you know, I went to go do my taxes, and the guy at the tax place goes, "Hey, well, you know, do you have any document on any cryptocurrency you bought?" And I'm like, "What? I did buy some or sold some or what, but I don't know anything." So again, I'm not passionate about it, so I have no clue what's going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so yeah, in this case, the podcast is really kind of the sweet spot for me. You know, I've had guests like Carol Shelby's grandson, Aaron Shelby. That's kind of, you know, he's kind of spearheading up the whole Carol Shelby organization.
That's
international. Cool. You know, Linda Vaughn, who is the first lady of motorsports. Who else did I have? I've had
the older British gentlemen. Like there's some people you've caught too who are like,
right. I have Brian Redman, you know, former F1 race car driver. I had Jeff Klein, an IMSA race car driver and SCCA race car champion. So I mean, it's kind of funny. You don't think that some of these people are going to want to talk to you, and all it takes is just, you know, a couple little messages and a little email or something, and you know, I'm surprised at some people that have kind of chimed in to talk to me, you know. So, you know, and so yeah, so it's been kind of a fun ride so far.
I would say it's no different than any sales call. Like if you're on LinkedIn, if the person, you can tell they know who you are, why they're reaching out to you, what the purpose is. It's a human, not a robot. People are inclined to engage. If you just spammed out like the same, hi, we have this podcast we're seeking, participants on, I don't think you would have got the same, follow up. It's
No,
cool.
you don't. But it's kind of funny when you start talking to people that are car enthusiasts or automobile enthusiasts. It's kind of funny that automobile enthusiasts, the automobile thread, that thread is the commonality that everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be talking to, some titan of some big conglomerate company, and he happens to like cars, and you could be a janitor at a school that also likes cars. The commonality is the car, the automobile. So it kind of brings everybody together. It kind of brings everybody to the same playing field, that you would never, outside of the commonality of the car, you would never be exposed to these guys. And that's the beauty of it. Cause you could go to some of these car shows and Cars and Coffee, and you're going to see, like $1 million cars, and the guy comes out wearing just like you and I, sneakers and shorts, and hey, boy, that's a beautiful car, and he's like, oh yeah, man, this is great, and they'll just talk up a storm. But in your normal regular life, you may never have an opportunity to talk to that person.
Yeah, it's fun.
And create a friendship.
Oh, totally. I forget the Bay Shores across the street. Your buddies just love those pickup trucks.
Yeah.
How there's even that niche, how, you'll just find these small little crews. For me, and I need to get back to working on cars now. I have a little garage. It was just, it's fun. There's something very interesting about the car working, getting inside the engine, pulling parts off, putting them on. There's something kind of like empowering to doing things on a car that feels sort of out of reach. I think it gave me some confidence in terms of, trying things as an entrepreneur. Like sometimes just working with your hands can kind of be a good confidence builder that you can make things happen.
Well, what it is too is it's that challenge to be able to see an issue or a problem, and kind of try to figure it out in your head how you're going to solve that problem. And a lot of that does transfer over to your regular job. I mean, even with insurance and stuff like that, I mean, it does transfer. You've got a scenario situation, you need to figure out how to resolve it. It's problem solving. It's really problem solving when it really comes down to working on a car. More times than not. Yeah, I mean, an oil change is an oil change, but there's other things that are going to be that make it challenging, and it's rewarding once you get it done. It's like, you feel good. You're like, I did it. I did that. I fixed that. I didn't have to go take it to a shop.
Ironically, I've never done an oil change. I've done a valve adjustment, but I haven't done an oil change.
Really?
Cost benefit. Although I did see at a like a pull through lube place that they'll take your used oil. I'm like, all right, maybe this is not a good excuse. We just go drop it off there.
But you know what? I'll tell you though, to be honest,
yeah.
Today now it's so much easier just to go someplace to go get when you need to get it and knock it out.
I think I can use this as a fluid podcast transition. But you go to those places, you have all the salespeople with 40 points and try to get you to flush your transmission fluid and everything else. Ahead of selling for Newport Beach Insurance Center, now Arango Insurance, you always love salespeople, right? The thing you always wanted to be was a salesperson, wasn't it? That's how you would love to come across to people. That's your goal.
Right. I mean, that was the hardest part, Brett. You know that. For me, I was never a sales guy. I never lived or breathed in that sales world. I mean, I've been a licensed agent for decades, but I've always been in the background in the administrative side in the insurance world. So I've managed teams of agents and across the country, but I personally have never really been the guy that's kind of gone, hi, are you interested in some insurance? I've never was that guy.
Yeah, but you've closed some deals since then. You've gotten a few things across the desk.
I have. I mean, but it's you're kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's funny because now, after 30 years, now I'm kind of learning how to be how to be a salesman. And I never really want to be a salesman. I really want to be part of their team. I want to help my clients and really not be seen as like I'm there to sell them anything. I want to solve their problem. They have a problem, let's solve the problem. And there is satisfaction in solving the problem.
I think, to your point, the best salespeople aren't salespeople. They're not manipulators. They find fit, they meet the need. A guy, Larry Nichols, who I interviewed or we talked, he said in insurance especially, you're not selling anything. You're meeting a need. You're finding what the customer's requirements are and making sure to take care of them. And then a big lesson you taught me working together is that it comes down to claims. Yeah, you can sell all the policies all day long that you want, but you better make sure you have good ones out there. You better make sure you're available as a full person in the time of need, because that's actually, when we earn our paycheck.
Right. And again, even from the insurance side, again, I'm probably a little bit more old school than a lot of the other agents out there. But to me, not all risks are good risks. You don't have to take everything on. Again, that's you as an agent. You're doing a little bit of your own self
underwriting.
Right. You're doing a little bit of your own self underwriting, and you may look at this risk and you may think in your head, it's like, I want to write as much as I can. I get that. But you need to look at that and kind of go, oh, this might be
I think long term
have in my book of business, and you may need to pass on something. And then, like you said, when all is said and done, when that claim happens, that's when it's showtime. That's when it's showtime. That's when it's for you to be, again, old school. I'm not real quick to say, oh, you had a claim. Oh, here, let me give you this number. Call 8100, whatever.
Here's the claims department.
Here's the claims department. Call those guys and go sit on hold for 45 minutes. You know what? That's my job, I think. To me, it's like, you're my client. You call me and say, hey, Ed, guess what? Something got stolen out of my business. I had this problem. Whatever. Okay, you want me to report? Tell me what happened. You kind of take some of the details down. Tell me what happened. Who, what day? What happened? What was stolen? What do you think the value was? Did you do a police report? Whatever the issue happens to be, and then you just say, okay, don't worry about it. I'll call it in for you. And to me, I think that's kind of, in my personal opinion, that's how I handle it. That's part of my job. That's part of me getting paid my commission.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense to me, and I think it's a really well-rounded way to approach the business. I appreciate the knowledge share and kind of that handoff. If you don't mind too, for some of the folks that have met you before, maybe new from the insurance nerds community, maybe some of the agency background or some of the experience, prior to starting your own agency.
So let me think. I'm trying to think. So I got my feet wet in the insurance industry back in the late 80s. I think it was like 87, 88. I started working. I went into work at Transamerica Occidental Life. At that time, it was Occidental Life. And I went in to what they called a policy change department, old school. It was total old school. It was like, imagine, I'm trying to think of a movie that it kind of reminds me of. Oh, well, kind of like, imagine those movies where you see like a big office room and it's just no cubicles, just desk and desk and desk and desk of workers.
Yeah.
Forever. I was in one of those desks. Yeah. Right. And it was funny because back in that time, we literally had a computer with like a one monitor between me and the guy that sat next to me, and we each had our own keyboard, but the monitor was on a Lazy Susan. So it was like, hey, when I need to use that when you're done, and you would rotate the monitor over and then you would type and put in stuff, but everything was very archaic. Still tons of files and all that stuff up on the shelves. And the policy change department, this was a life insurance company, obviously. So policy change department was if there was like change of beneficiary, address changes, things like that, we made changes. So that's where I cut my teeth in the insurance world. And then I stayed working with them for a while. Then I stayed at Transamerica, moved into a project manager role, and left after about 13, 14 years from there, because they were moving the operations, the division I was in, they were moving it to Northern California, and I wasn't going to move. So I took my severance package and stepped away. And ironically, at the same time, during that period of time, I was very much into sailing, into boating and sailing. And close to where my home was, there was a yacht manufacturer. It was called Catalina Yachts in Woodland Hills. Manufactures Catalinas, sailboats. So I just I had left Transamerica as a project manager. So I contacted them. They happened to have a project manager role open, obviously not insurance related, but yeah, I got hired over there, and primarily also because I speak Spanish, I could communicate with a lot of the staff members in the shop, and it was a lot easier in that respect. So I was there probably for about another 10, 12 years, I think it was.
So you have to give a shout out to Blake and his Catalina 42.
And to Blake, yeah. Blake has his Catalina 42. That's true. So I worked there for a bunch of years, and again, Southern California, AQMD and all these regulations were really buckling down on them and their production, and gel coats and fiberglass and all this stuff, and a lot of this stuff.
I'm sure that sounds environmentally friendly. There's probably nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
California probably loves that.
Yeah, California was dying for them to leave. So they had a plant in Florida. They moved operations to Florida. Again, I find myself laid off. Well, I should backtrack a little bit. Ironically, probably a couple of months before I got laid off, I had a headhunter call me, and it was about an insurance agency in Newport Beach that was looking for somebody that had insurance background, but also had some boating background. And, and I don't know how they got this or got my information. I can't remember right now, but anyway, I ended up talking to them. And that kind of twiddled away. And then when I found out that I was going to not have a job here pretty soon, I reached back. And anyway, I got hired by this insurance company in Newport called, well, I don't know.
There's a boat insurance company. Yeah,
some boat insurance agency.
It's a niche. Yeah,
it's a niche. So I got hired by these folks. And again, I was there for about 13 years. I left working with them as the VP of sales and operations, again, kind of overseeing the whole team. We had 5 or 6 offices around the country. I kind of oversaw everything for the owner. Owner was kind of absentee towards the end. Probably the last 4 or 5 years, he was kind of absentee. And so I kind of ran everything for him. That's kind of what ended up happening there. Then we had another situation there, and we
ended up helping one other shop get organized, helped me get organized, and now building our own little test kitchen.
Yeah. So then now that lasted for about 13, 14 years there at that other insurance company, and then here we are.
And so for the people out there who have been more like the operation side or maybe underwriters, the reason why, I wanted to bug Ed and get his help, or the reason why I thought he'd be totally fine doing his own thing, he cares about what he's doing. He knows the industry. He's a client advocate. I know sales can be a little bit of an intimidating thing from the outside, but really it's just organization, consistency, understanding value. The day of, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything else, it's freaking relationships still. It's who can open a door, who can advocate for you. The challenging thing on insurance is so many people can help us, but we can't flip around and return deals all the time. I might be able to help out a realtor every other year, a lawyer once a year, CPA once or twice a year, but they could feed me business all day long. So it's who can you provide value to, staying upbeat,
It's kind of funny you say that like that, because that is kind of what ends up happening, you know, that it just, you know, you may not get that opportunity that often. You know, because I remember like even in the boat industry, in the specialty yacht, we would talk to yacht brokers and, you know, and yacht sales guys, and they could feed us people all day long, but very rarely would we be able to turn that around. I remember what's kind of funny. I remember one situation which was kind of smart. This one guy came to our agency, and he comes to us and he goes, listen, he goes, I'm planning on buying a yacht. He goes, I'm buying a boat. He goes, I want to come to you guys as the insurance people first. I don't even know what boat I'm going to buy, but who out there as yacht brokers that you guys know do you think are reputable? Because they kind of figure we don't have.
You're not going to want to hang with sleazy brokers.
Right, yeah. Right. We don't have a dog, you know, in the fight, and we're not going to refer to him to a sleazy broker. So I thought it was kind of clever of this guy to kind of use that angle, and it worked, because then we were able to tell the guy, listen, oh, you know what? I know the right guy for you for what the kind of boat and thing you want. Let me turn you on to this guy. And that guy was like blown away, kind of like, what? You're bringing me a client?
That's cool. And the other funny part, I thought he was going to say, as an insurance guy, like, what boat would you sail? You know, maybe you go back to the Catalina. You know what I mean? Like, what isn't going to leave me high and dry? What boat don't you think you'd expect to claim on? And on the flip side, you know, what's going to be a tinderbox? Yeah.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. I think one of the things that we kind of experience, you know, we're going to talk about specialty boats right now. I mean, in a sense, specialty boat coverage.
It's towards the end of the pod. This is where we get weird. We just go off topic at this point.
So, I mean, you know, it's kind of funny because, for example, the Catalina yachts, there's probably over 70,000 hulls out there, meaning 70,000 boats that people have bought across the country, up and down, across the world. The majority of these people, the majority of these boats, I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of them sit in a marina, and, you know, husband and wife, they come down on a Friday night, you know, hang out on the boat, have a little cheese and wine and cracker, hang out, listen to music, listen to the water, barbecue. And then on Sunday, lock it up and they drive home.
That's funny. That makes sense.
They use it kind of like a little bit of an
almost
escape.
Like a patio. Yeah.
Like a patio, an escape, a little like motor home on the water.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of use it that way. You do have them, but I mean, there are.
Well, the Blakes of the world
that go around the world in them.
Yeah. But I hear you. You know, it's funny because I romanticize the idea of learning how to sail, get in a boat. You know, we have our apartment, whatever else. I could totally see just kind of BSing and on the water. It's almost like a cabin, but on the water. Yeah.
And that is what the majority of people do with those boats. So underwriters and actuaries have kind of figured that out, that certain brands that people do that with more. So
yeah,
the likelihood of a risk of it being detrimental is lower with certain brands of boats.
That's funny. Like race cars versus sedans, you know.
Yeah, in a sense. And you know, I mean, in a sense. So that was always kind of interesting, you know. Again, hand it to actuaries, because they kind of have to take a real big step back and look at the big picture and then kind of figure it all out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, no, I appreciate like the knowledge share, kind of working with me, you know, working with Smart Choice, you know, the Insurance Nerds group's been great to both of us as well. But yeah, I'll definitely have in the show notes about Arango Insurance. People should chase you down for anything automotive. I'm going to put in there too, the boats too, you know, personal lines as well, you know.
So my sweet spot in the insurance world right now is going to be kind of like the commercial auto, you know, OEM shop, restoration shops, you know, tune-up shops or oil change shops. Anything in that kind of world is kind of like my sweet spot. Collector cars, exotic cars, things like that. I mean, I can help with your needs in that insurance. I mean, of course, I still do your typical home and auto, you know, and in certain states that I'm licensed in, and then the boats and yachts. You know, I'm just from so many years of knowledge. I mean, I have a lot of contacts. I've been writing boats recently, you know, that are in Mexico because this one company that has a little green lizard that we see pop up on the TV all the time has decided to pull out of the boat business.
We should be like Eds Auto Garage, Arango Insurance, automotive specialist, asterisk, reluctant yacht insurance broker. You know,
reluctant. I'm not reluctant. I'm not reluctant. But
I'll say slightly reluctant. Slightly reluctant.
I mean, no, it's kind of like. I kind of think of that. What is it in Godfather 3?
I've never seen that one actually. I need to.
Where he kind of goes, "When I try to get out, they pull me right back in."
Yeah.
You know, well, I kind of feel a little bit like that with it, but I do have the contacts in the area, and that really does help. So.
And even the influence though too, like going back, I probably not trying to pull it back too bad to the Smart Choice tribe, but mentioned Spencer, we got more proactive with the boats over there, just the knowledge share. And like you said, there's certain green lizard making moves in the marketplace. You gotta, you know, make hay while the sun is shining. And if you see an opportunity, you know, strike while the iron's hot, you know.
Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, I think that you know, I don't want to take you know all the credit for it, but I think I kind of lit a little light bulb in Spencer's head when I reached out to him about, hey Spencer, can we do this type of insurance for this type of a boat? Mm-hmm. And he was kind of like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I didn't even think about it. Yep. And sure enough, a couple of weeks later, he goes, we can do it.
Yep.
You know,
you made that happen. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's
so
part of being a community. If we're one man out there, you know, we don't get to open those doors with one woman. It's cool, you know, strength in numbers. I appreciate it.
No, it was good. It's good. It's good. It's all good. It's all good. And the best thing is that what helps the community is, you know, we all kind of help each other and kind of keep talking to each other and give each other suggestions and advice and ideas. And I mean, in a big picture, we're all kind of on the same team.
Yep. Well, we're all trying to take care of insureds, and there's plenty of stuff out there for us little guys. So I'll have Ed's Auto Garage. I'll have the Brokerge in the show notes. I'll have your contact. But anyways, people should reach you, where they should get a hold of you.
Yeah. So the best way to reach me is going to be at arangoins.com, which is the website for my agency. And then you can reach me at ed at arangoins.com, and Arango is ARANGOINS.com, or call me at 949-887-1274. That's probably the best way. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff.
LinkedIn, Twitter, all that good stuff for sure.
Yeah, all that stuff. I'm out there. I try to be out there. Not the best at all that stuff, but you know, I'm out there.
It's all a work in progress, but dude, thanks for tuning on. And for anybody who wants to venture out on their own, it's doable, you know.
And if anybody has any, and again, I want to put myself out there, if anybody has any questions or needs any advice or wants to learn a little bit more about this or that in the auto industry, the auto space, by all means, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help however I can.
Perfect, man. I appreciate it. Well, we'll chat soon, and thanks for the time, Ed.